Here we are, April 12th, in the Stonebridge School apiary. A colony of one. We have Rob Keller and some onlookers. And we're going to go through the Stonebridge hive for the first time. So what Rob's doing is preparing some gear in case we need to add more space for the bees, because they've been very active.
You want us to take one and help?
Yeah, I'm just going to clean up, like,
Just a few?
you know, what we should do is pop some of these out in case we get into that other one. Then I'll show you guys how we scrape it.
There's a couple hive tools over there that'll work.
Yeah.
So explain to us what we're doing here, Rob.
Cleaning up this, cleaning up these frames, preparing to go into this hive since we don't know if it needs expanding or not. These are frames that came out of another colony that died out. We're kind of looking at some of the brood, recognizing that there's a lot of cells that are still capped.
Right.
And some of them are perforated. To me, that's a good indicator that this colony probably died out from the curlywing virus.
There's one. This one's plastic rock.
This one looks chalky.
That's probably mold where it molded on the pollen. But that's good. Let's do some of these.
Wire. Yeah, it's got wire between.
Yeah, that's
These
all
yours?
right.
These aren't yours.
Just pop them. No. Just make smoke.
I always thought so.
What's that?
It helps
Gives
in
them
the...
the monkeys. No, whenever they're in threat.
Does it put them to sleep? That's
They
what
think the house is on fire. I try not to smoke my bees.
put them to sleep.
It makes them calm. It doesn't put them to sleep, but it makes them calm.
Take my shirt off so they don't fly up my cuffs.
Okay, looks like we're preparing to go in.
Oh.
The hive dive here. First,
The other thing you would always do, you would never scrape stuff and then introduce that stuff back into the hive. So I always make sure I have a torch nearby.
Look at the audience.
yeah.
Scorch another hive tool.
Yes, I would scorch up all the hive tools. Okay, let's go.
Basically what we're doing is heating the hive tools so that there's no viruses or other contaminants that could get in and infect the colony. And
So if you
here
wanna
we
move
see
blow
the
on 'em a
inside
little.
cover.
I'm going to take some of this wax because we'll need it later.
Child, I think I got it out of my system.
And Rob's getting some
It's
wax
like the
together.
little fringe benefit of this.
Okay, put that on there.
And now he's preparing to go in.
So this colony is set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know a lot of people run followers with 8 frames. I prefer 7. But let's go way down. I'm going to go to down to the next box.
Sure.
Let's go all the way to
I
the
think
bottom.
that has some honey in it, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel pretty heavy?
Feels a little heavy.
That's some big larvae.
Yeah, so this is all drone. When it does this, you could kind of tell their see what their varroa loads look like, because you'll see a lot of varroa in here.
Now probably not stand right in front of the colony because you got the foragers coming back in. If you can stand to the
I thought it was
side.
over there. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I see the entrances there now.
So what happened is,
You want a clean hive tool, Jody?
No, I'm okay. I'm just gonna watch.
we're just gonna pull these guys off here. So this top one that had 8 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One thing you should always do is make sure you have more frames on the bottom box than the top, because what will end up happening is that they'll build this, they'll build down from the outside follower board or the furthest out frame, and then it turns into a little bit of a logistical issue. Let's get these guys out of here. These plastic ones with this Formica. I don't think, like, this is all particle board. Let's lose this
Do you have
stuff.
any others?
Yeah, we do. So let's go down one more. Can we go down one more box?
You have to take the tape off, Rob. That's still from when we...
Oh, here's the...
Yeah.
So is this super clean, Rob?
Yeah, that's a good one. Where the?
What
Oh,
price
these
you put
are
this
here.
with?
They
So
are.
then how do you make, this is a silly question.
Did you
Where
want to
does
put a
the honey-
follower board in that spot?
Separate areas.
I'm going to
they
pull
make
this
honey.
box off.
You
They
can
make
sand
it. No
That'd be
different
great.
areas. Yeah, in
We're
they put it
stripping
in
the
the
paint
little
and stuff.
another area.
That's too much
And
space.
how do
Do you want
you
another
retrieve
follower
it?
board in there?
No, we'll manage the space in a minute. Let's just go all the way to the bottom and see what these bees are doing inside.
So Rob is removing the duct tape which was used to transport the colony when we originally procured it, or it was donated to us.
There you go.
And then you take many different processes. You squeeze the
There we go.
So the brood goes all the way down into this next box. Some more brood.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah,
So they're busily laying.
yeah, it's
a lot
all
of bees.
drone comb. Let's put this there. Scrape these guys. Again, I like to look. There's your varroa mite. Got a little mite there.
Oh, we gotta see that.
And
Varroa
that's
mite is right.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get it. Where are you at? There.
See it moving around on that little larva? Hey Karen, when you do that, go like in, out, in, out, in, out. And you won't kill as many bees that get caught up in your wax.
how
Okay.
many?
Or heat up your tool.
A Varroa mite.
Now is that a
Watch
is that a
when you
big
heat up.
problem? Those mites?
Oh yeah. Not just onesie twosies, but what I do sometimes is I heat up my tool.
Oh, here's a good example of a drone.
Yeah, it just hatched out.
Oh, look at that.
You got with a varroa mite running on his back. See that one?
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Look at that. See, you can tell drones because they're a little bit bigger. They have fuzzy butts and they have big eyes compared to the others.
And that's so they can see the queens for mating.
Oh, is that why?
That's my understanding. Does that sound right, Rob?
Stuff off. Yeah.
Well, how many categories of bees are there in a hive?
The queen, the workers, and the drone. But there's different
Crazy.
stages
One,
of
two, three,
development
5,
as
6,
well.
7, 8, 9. It just shows that whoever set these up didn't understand the real function of the follower board. The problem I have when they're also stuff like this, I mean, you can obviously see these frames aren't occupied, so let's go in here. But imagine this colony was totally busting with bees. What frame would you go in on?
Whose hive
See?
is this?
It was one that was donated to the school,
Oh.
so we don't want to be choosy, but I was in a hive yesterday like this too. I'm like, I don't understand. Look, and you have to be careful because you're going to rip the top bars right off these things.
It's just a plastic one anyway.
Yeah. So we'll take this out. What I would say is, are they storing anything in there? They are. A little bit of stores in this frame. Not much.
You want to point out the stores to Patrick? He wanted to see.
See, that's where they store all their nectar.
Oh, okay.
I would look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say, let's look at this one and maybe we don't put this one in the hive just yet. It's a nice time of year because you don't have to worry. If you open this up and left that laying around out in the middle of the field in the middle of August, you would have every bee in this region on top of it. So it's a great time of year to be working these bees. We don't have to worry about all the things we have to look at.
And those bees are known as robbers, right?
Yeah,
The ones
other
you're
bees
talking
that
about?
come in, they call them robbers.
Well, and just the
They're very opportunistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest flower in Napa right now, in the middle of the nectar dearth.
Yeah.
That's what they see it as.
These are all little worker bees. See how little they are?
Not at our
How
house.
pointy their butts are.
Okay, so on this frame is more brood. Billy G, right? Down in this area. So I bet you she's upstairs laying a little bit down here, but
I put the extra
frame back
frame
in.
back in there because I just didn't look at it, but I didn't see anything. I just
So I would say with these guys, put them in here. We may, how many do we have total? 1, 2, 3. I was thinking maybe run everybody as a 7, and if you wanted to, you could expand this colony up.
Space, yeah.
Give them a little more space, give them a couple J-frames in the middle of these, see how they build them out. This is all capped brood. Or, Adrian, if you wanted to do that split, this is a great colony.
There's some little curled up ones, some young brood down in here. I'm not seeing any fresh eggs.
Yeah, she's probably moved up.
Why don't we take a look in the next super and then make a decision as to whether to split?
To
See if
split
we-
it as a super rather than split, add room in this deep. I don't see any eggs.
Well, we have a top and bottom board, so we could do it if we chose to.
The thing thing is, I don't like leaving them on site, Adrian. Would you take them back up to your house till they?
Well, what I would do is take the original hive and place it over, and then take the split and put it in place of the existing colony. And that way the new split without the queen will get all the foragers, or not all of them, but a majority. If we don't take one off site, that is.
But then even the other one, they all go back.
Right.
Right.
That's the problem with doing a
I don't like doing it.
on-site split.
I don't like.
But the
split.
good thing about that is you've already got the laying queen in the colony that does not have that will not have the foragers. So you'll have hatching brood, and you won't have a cycle where there's no brood, because the queen will continue laying in that colony. Right. So you'll start to get foragers pretty quick, and you won't have a big dip in population like you might otherwise.
So do you want to get rid of this box?
No, we're just gonna pop this off for a second. We're gonna take this down, get any bees that are in that box into here, and then we're gonna scorch this box and just hit the rails.
Okay.
So
you want me to get the tape off?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit it with the fork.
But it's
right
taped
here.
to the bottom. Do you want to keep it on the bottom?
Yeah, we'll keep it on the bottom. 2 guys on the outside. Let them be the ones they start storing up on. Karen, if you could get us a couple of the cleaned up deeps. They should look like they've been scorched.
So what do we got there, Rob?
Pollen.
Pollen. Okay, so for brood rearing.
It would be good for brood rearing, but
Oh, we got a capped queen cell there too. That might be
used.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
it's open.
Yeah.
That one's way
Rob,
old.
did you scorch the follower boards, or did you scorch frames?
I just I scorched at least one of the deep frames, but we're going to need all of them if we can hit them quick. We're going to put these followers back in here the way they came, the ones that were in it.
So we need to scorch them.
Those 2 deeps have already been scorched. The follower,
That's, I saw the follower boards, but we need the frames.
the frames have not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about the followers. 1.
There's a few of the frames I did, but I didn't get to all of them.
3. We try and have them cleaned up before we on site.
Yeah.
So you're not scorching up on site, but man, it never happens.
All right.
You know, it never happens.
So we got lots of
Patrick's
brood
asking
on
if
that
it's
frame.
a lot of work to have a hive and high maintenance stuff.
I think to do it right is a little bit more labor intensive than most people think. I think if you're someone who's just a casual beekeeper and have 2 hives, it's a lot of work to do it right, and you should count on losing maybe a weekend a week looking at them. You know, you got to kind of stay on top of them.
A day on the weekend.
Yeah, a day on the weekend.
But that's not year round, right?
No,
That's just
no.
this season.
Just this part of the season, but you still got to stay on top of them.
Did you want to take that wire thing and scrape it?
Because during the winter you don't get into the colonies at all, so it's not a year-round activity. Once the rainy season and the cold season starts, you don't really open your colonies until spring, probably February.
But they talk about, that you have other duties in your bee yard then.
That's right. And that would include cleaning your equipment,
Cleaning all your equipment,
reading.
reading all your books,
Yeah.
planting forage.
Yeah.
I find that it never ends, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but also
Does take a dedication.
See how there's chunks of stuff here?
Right, yeah.
There are bee havers though, right?
Okay. Is there one of them that was done already? Okay.
Why is it that you're writing on the top of the frames, Rob?
So we know when we've put this frame in.
Okay.
And the reason we call these things J frames because it's a little bit on the janky side. Instead of what we do is just do this. Harvest a little bit of wax, about that much. Form it into a little ball.
And that's an alternative to putting in
Starter
a
strip.
sheet of wax or
Starter strip.
a plastic foundation, which many beekeepers use. This is more of a natural approach because you're not putting in plastic in the colony.
And it's also a really great way that you can divide this, the brood. If you were to stick a piece of plastic in here, you would split out your brood.
Right.
So this is a great way that you can add to this colony, give her a little room in the brood chamber, which is super important if you want this colony to grow. A lot of beekeepers just throw a box on top. I find that, you know, that really doesn't work. So what I'm doing is just going to put one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll put one on the either side of dead center.
Right. And so the bees will build out the wax from that one little starter piece on the top and fill out the whole frame. And they will only do that during certain times of the year, right, Rob? Because there has to be a nectar flow on and the bees have to be actively flying, which in April they are. So you can't do this in the winter. And you wouldn't want to do it.
It'll just sit there all year.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that anyway because you don't expand in the winter.
This is all nasty. I don't want to squish this up into a little disc. I'm just trying to get
So he's fabricating
pulling all these drones where we separated the brood chamber and there were drones in between the hive.
Now you're not eating those. How come?
Well, I would, but
Do you eat them?
I don't.
No. You're the only person I've ever heard of that likes to eat them. I thought you just did it for reporters.
no.
But he does have a camera and it's on.
I know.
Now's your opportunity, Rob.
I know.
You,
Okay.
you can get famous.
Overeating drones.
Nader's probably going to put it on YouTube, so you
it's been done.
ready.
Did you see that recent YouTube clip about the guy in China that had the 100 pounds of bees on him?
No.
Oh, look it up, man. It is amazing. I'm not really into those bee.
Follower board or you want to?
No, I'm just gonna right here on 4. Usually I use a Sharpie for this, but good. This one's ready to go.
All right.
Okay, so we got 7 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 frames in here. 2 J frames on either side of dead center. We cleaned it up so these frames will slide nicely on our rail. I do need one follower board right here. Okay, good. We'll take those and put them in this one. This one can go over here.
And so the purpose of the follower boards are again?
The purpose of the follower board is threefold. One is it allows air convection. Air can move through this colony a lot easier. I find that if you're like this colony, we know is having venting problems because we saw a bunch of moisture on the monitoring tray. So we're going to try and clear some of that up by giving them room to air convection to move around the hive. The other thing I really like these follower boards for is that you can expand and contract this colony. I prefer 7, 7, and 7. Sometimes we, in the winter, we crush them down to 6. So then in the spring we could come back and drop 1 J frame dead center, and that colony has a place to start rearing brood right in the beginning of the year. I think the third thing about the follower boards that's really nice is it's so unintrusive. I mean, all you have to do is pull this follower back, slide it back very gently right up against the edge of the colony wall, and then you can start accessing the frames. You know, you look around, everybody here's got bee veils on. I find that if you use your followers, you don't need bee veils because it's very gentle.
That'd be me.
There you go.
But there's also an additional reason. Some people react to being stung more severely than others. In my case, I get a pretty severe reaction, so even though I may not get stung, I still, yeah.
Okay, 3, 4,
I don't take
5.
unnecessary risk with getting stung. I just feel it's too uncomfortable.
I've never been stung. I've been stung by a wasp. The first time was out here.
Mm-hmm.
Those are worse than bees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, some decision making going on.
yeah, so I'm thinking we got 3 frames in this box. We were going to try and expand this box up into these 2 deeps and maybe do a split. So I'm kind of looking at what we'll do. Maybe what we'll do is say we'll put 2 more of those J frames in between these 3 frames, and then we'll have 5 in the boxes above the lowest box. Again, you have to have fewer frames in the configuration. If you have 7 frames above 5, those bees are going to build off the bottoms of your followers. They're going to run that straight down on the side of those followers to the bottom box. So I think we ought to put 2 J frames in, and I just need to set them up. Here, I'll give you want to do one of these for me?
Yeah, I haven't done one.
So look at all these Varroa.
Are they all just in there feeding off those drones?
Yeah, the Varroa is really drawn to the drone.
And why is that their Varroa is attracted to the drones, Rob?
I think there's a couple reasons. One is that the drone cell is bigger. Also, the drones are cooler because they usually position the drones on the outside of the brood chamber, so the temperature of the drones in their developmental cycle is a little bit less. And the third thing is they take longer to develop in the, you know, in the bigger picture. They will go into worker comb, they'll even go into queen comb, but because the drone takes longer to develop, the like 3 or 4 days extra that they get inside the cell, because the Varroa mite goes inside the cell and coexists with that young larva as it's developing. Okay, so we have one. They're not really hating, they're just preserving. But the males get to live longer. That's what you got to watch out for. See that one that went for my face? Okay.
I'm going to put that other one on the end.
Here's our other one. Okay. So we're going to put 5 in here. What this will allow us to do is come back later, you know, as soon as a couple weeks and see how much they've built out on these. And if they have, it'll give us expansion space. We can drop, if they build out on these 2 J's, we could drop 2 more J's right in here. So we'll go from 5 to 7.
You want to see what's going in this box?
Yep, that's next. 4. This is the one we're gonna 12, 14. We'll let.
Okay, where is that queen?
Right there. See her? Right in the middle.
Oh yeah, there she is. Okay, the queen, right there. That is the queen of the colony.
Beautiful.
She lays all the eggs.
Okay.
And she's going into the box.
Karen, I wanted to kind of set up one box that was going to be all of our just nectar frames. I think we did. Didn't we put... The problem is...
That's what we started this box as.
Right.
Now we've got the main queen laying right in the middle of it, right?
Right. So
Are
we
they
can't...
going to need more room up above?
Yeah, but let's see what we can send with Adrian first now.
What we're doing here is
I'm trying to
making
knock
a
down
split.
Some of these frames, you know, like
Explain.
What are we gonna do? Go 2 deeps and 2 shallows?
We could. We got the boxes.
We got more boxes in the truck too.
The problem I find with that is that you're gonna. Do we have anything to plug this with?
The entrance?
Yeah.
We'll find something.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we get this on, then we need to put that. I'm gonna start knocking bees now. So yeah, there you go. You got it.
So he's going to want you to plug it pretty soon, Adrian, right?
Yeah, in a bit. I can get some material from the truck. It'll probably be all right for a while unless we start seeing them.
This is a great frame. Well, no, these all have eggs in them. Let's just let them lay out their eggs. I'm gonna take more. Ready? I'm gonna keep banging bees in here. We need all. See, when you shake them, and the ones that are left, those are the most important bees.
So what he's doing is getting house bees to go and rear the brood in the split, which I will take away for a period of time until they've established their queen, and then we'll bring them back probably in a month. So this is how you do a split.
We're going to have 2 hives out here?
Yeah.
Then we will have 2 hives.
Oh, great. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
You make it sound like a small thing.
Well, there is a...
One to
They
send
were
with
there at our
Adrian.
house before. They could just come back for a little while and then...
This is a good thing to send this whole frame with Adrian. Put it in here.
Getting a little more active with the bees as they're being
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
shaken into the split to raise the population.
Okay.
And the reason we take them away is so that foragers won't fly back to the original mother colony.
Okay, so we have one hive that's ready, that's cleaned up, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Are you ready for another one?
What we need to do now is, yeah, let's
Like
take.
one in Adrian's or?
No, what we all.
I think.
She goes. She's trying.
She's got a big head. Yeah, we're missing lunch. It's true.
Well, I got her in the. Can't see if I got her in the
I was
picture.
gonna say 1 o'clock they were doing lunch.
Yeah.
Got a queen in there somewhere.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's put her back because
Yeah.